Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaranari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaranari Yashoda Nandana Brajachana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajachana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaranari Yashoda Nandana Brajachana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, it's Friday. Today we read Srila Prabhupada's Nectar book. And then tomorrow, Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Sunday, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And the rest of the week, Srimad Bhagavatam. So, we are in Srila Prabhupada's Nectar book, chapter 38. Tamal Krishna Goswami was the first disciple in ISKCON to receive sannyas while he was a member of the GBC. Srila Prabhupada awarded it to him in Jaipur in 1971, and the initial concept was that Tamal Krishna Goswami would renounce his managerial responsibilities and simply travel and preach. After a brief, successful tour in Gujarat, he returned to see Srila Prabhupada in Bombay. Because his ex-wife was a devotee in Bombay, Tamal Krishna Goswami thought that he could not actually go in person to the temple. So he sent his assistant while he himself waited at the train station. When Prabhupada heard, however, that he was waiting at the train station, he sent a devotee to pick him up and bring him to him. As soon as Tamal Krishna Goswami entered Srila Prabhupada's room and began to bow before his spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada said, There is no difficulty in this regard. Srila Prabhupada explained, the temple is a neutral place where they come in any case, in any situation. So there is no wrong. Prabhupada was pleased that his sannyasi disciple was strict in his vow, but he reassured him that there was no harm in being in the same temple as his ex-wife. The sannyasa initiation had been very humbling to Tamal Krishna Goswami, and since he was no longer a leading manager, he took his seat near the rear of the room. Prabhupada had been talking to a room full of devotees, but now he asked that everyone leave the room. He then asked Tamal Krishna Goswami to privately give his report on the recent preaching. The fact that Prabhupada had asked the others to leave was unusual and indicated his special feeling about the sannyasi preaching, about the sannyas preaching. Tamal Krishna Goswami reported that they had enrolled 8 members in about 7 days. They held a big Pandal lecture program that 5,000 people had attended, and the governor of Gujarat, Narsingh Narayan, had been the chief guest. Prabhupada was pleased to see the photographs of these events as well as the newspaper clippings. He leaned back, satisfied, and said, "Now I can retire without any anxiety. Kirtanananda and Brahmananda and yourself are all preaching nicely. Everything will go on." Srila Prabhupada said, "Tamal Krishna Goswami, I think I have to go now because I want to go ahead of you to Madras." Oh, no. Srila Prabhupada said, Tamal Krishna was speaking. Srila Prabhupada said to Tamal Krishna Goswami, "I think I have to go now because I want to go ahead of you to Madras so I can be there to receive you in your next program." "Yes, go now," Srila Prabhupada says. After Tamal Krishna Goswami offered his obeisances, Prabhupada got up from behind his desk and embraced his disciple. Resting his head on one shoulder and then on the other shoulder of the disciple, Prabhupada then released him from his embrace and said, "Now take the sannyas mantra in your heart. Go everywhere and preach." Number 39. Little drops of nectar. Within a few months of taking sannyas, Tamal Krishna Goswami was drawn back into ISKCON management. Too much was happening, and the demands were too great for Srila Prabhupada to allow him to renounce the heavy duties of Indian management. At one point, however, it became, from Tamal Krishna Goswami's viewpoint, an overburden. Prabhupada was allowing Giriraj to return to America because he had jaundice, and Giriraj's replacement, Mohanananda, had also decided to quit India because it was too difficult for him. As Tamal Krishna Goswami was GBC for India, all of the Indian management was on him, and at the same time, he now had to personally manage Bombay. Prabhupada also told him that the GBC should personally collect funds. In great anxiety, Tamal Krishna Goswami went before Srila Prabhupada and began to cry. "Prabhupada, it is hopeless," he said. "How can I do it? It's impossible. How can I do so many things?" Prabhupada sat back and said, "This is very good. You should pray to be entangled in Krishna's service so that there is not a free moment for Maya to attack." During the cornerstone laying ceremony in Mayapur, Giriraj went to see Srila Prabhupada in his grass hut. Prabhupada told him that during the time of the British Empire, there were 3 states in India: Madras, Bombay, and Calcutta, and there was one governor in charge of each state. "Which state do you want?" asked Srila Prabhupada. Giriraj had always followed his authorities and had never before made any important decisions. He had no idea which which to decide. So he said, Prabhupada, I will do whatever you want me to do. No, said Prabhupada, I want you to decide. Giriraj meditated on his choice for about a week, but still he couldn't decide. He hatched a plan, however, to trick Srila Prabhupada into deciding for him. I was thinking of going to Bombay, said Giriraj. Giriraj's idea was that by mentioning Bombay, Prabhupada's face would make some expression that would show Giriraj what Srila Prabhupada wanted him to do. But Prabhupada didn't show any expression at all. He only said, that's all right. But then again, said Giriraj, I was also thinking of going to Madras. As with his Bombay choice, Giriraj gave some feasible reasons why he should go to Madras. He waited to see Srila Prabhupada if Srila Prabhupada would reveal himself. But again, there was no expression. Yes, said Prabhupada, that is all right. Then Giriraj realized that it wasn't going to work. I was thinking of staying in Calcutta, said Giriraj, but again, same thing, Prabhupada did not show even the slightest hint of any expression that would reveal what he wanted. That's all right, said Prabhupada. At this point, Giriraj felt ashamed of trying to trick his spiritual master, but he was also exhilarated because he could see that Srila Prabhupada was so great and perfect that he could not be tricked by his foolish disciple. Srila Prabhupada had the quality of gravity. To be grave means that if someone looks at you, they cannot understand what you're thinking. That's actually the meaning of it. So Tamal Krishna Raj, or Giriraj rather, was trying to trick Srila Prabhupada, but Srila Prabhupada was very grave, so he wouldn't reveal what he was thinking. Number 40, little drops of nectar. In India, Prabhupada proposed that the devotees set up a library in a separate building. It would house all of Prabhupada's books, as well as all the books of the great acharyas, including the Upanishads and other Vedic literatures. He even said that Shankara's works should be included, but not anything from modern popular swamis and political leaders who claim to be spiritual writers. They're all rascals, Prabhupada said. The Vedas instruct us that we should not even look at their faces. But doesn't Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say that if one even reads Shankara's books, he'll be doomed? Said Harisari. Prabhupada replied, not if he reads with proper understanding. We can read to know what is their philosophy. During a short visit to Boston in 1971, Prabhupada gave the devotees a gift for their altar. Brahmananda had asked Prabhupada why he always applied his Vaishnav tilak by using water from an old jar. Prabhupada replied, I will give it to you. It is Ganga water and never decomposes. Brahmananda thankfully accepted the jar of water. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. We will get a silver container for it. No, said Prabhupada, put it on the altar as it is. So the devotees placed the jar, which was clearly labeled Maxwell House Coffee, on the altar along with Radha Krishna deities and all the other standard paraphernalia. Sometimes visitors to the temple would ask about the significance of the Maxwell House jar on the worshipable altar, and the devotees would proudly and gladly explain that it was a gift from Srila Prabhupada. When Srila Prabhupada began the worship of Shalagav Shila in Mayapur, he did not give much instruction to the pujaris. Give some tulasi, he said, and then you can give this water drip. He meant that the shalagram could receive a daily watering, as does Tulasi, during the month of Vaishaka. Shalagram Shila means mantra, said Prabhupada. Mantra, sleeping, mantra, sleeping, mantra, sleeping. Prabhupada started laughing. He explained that the Shalagram Shilas are worshipped not so much in the temple, but privately. A Brahmana will do his puja and then go and put the Shila away in a box, and then again at a later time take him out and do puja, and then put him away in a box. Mantra sleeping, laughed Prabhupada. This is Shalagram worship. 41. Prabhupada said, on reading Prabhupada's books and becoming strong by following the spiritual principles, I think it is very obvious, and you have admitted, that the problem is you are not following the basic principles for our society. The fact that you have not chanted your rounds for a long time is enough to make you without any spiritual strength. That was from a letter, I don't know to who, May 26, 1975. Another letter. You say you want to go to preach to the Mayavadi Swamis, but if you go to those rascals, they will convert you. You are not so strong that you can convince them and convert them from their foolishness. It is distinctly said in the Bhagavad Gita that the purpose of the Vedic knowledge is to understand Krishna. Vedaischa sarvar aham eva veja. That's Bhagavad Gita 15, verse 5. So we are presenting Krishna in so many ways: politically, socially, economically, philosophically, and religiously, etc. We are describing him in 75 books of 400 pages each. Better read those books thoroughly and be firmly convinced yourself before going to these demons for convincing them. If you are weak yourself while trying to convert them, you will be converted by them. Don't try any hard task before you are very strong. Chant 16 rounds daily, follow the rules and regulations, and read our books. Don't become a very big preacher immediately. Yes. Another letter. On devotees and the bodily concept. Why should you be sorry if someone says that you are an Indian and he is an American, and that Indians are no good, but Americans are good? Why be affected by bodily relationships? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has advised us, and as an older grown-up student, you should know it, that we have to become humbler than a blade of grass and more tolerant than a tree. Then we can execute our service and chant Hare Krishna. If Indians are bad, then I am also bad, as I am an Indian. But they have accepted an Indian as their guru. So Indians are both bad and good according to their behavior. They accused you as bad because you're Indian, but they have accepted a bad Indian as guru. Don't be afflicted by all these external features of your bodily relationship. Be steady in Krishna consciousness and do your duty, and you may be blessed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna and make your life successful. We are neither Indian nor American. Our real identity is that we are all servants of Krishna. And one more. You have asked, what is the origin of the black race? This is not an important question. Why should you be curious about the temporary body? If I am very interested in knowing about my clothing and I'm wearing only temporarily, it is not a very important thing. We have had many bodies which we change like sets of clothes. To be very absorbed in the present body one has, whether it is black or white or yellow, is not a sign of a wise person or a Krishna conscious devotee. As to whether the personality of Kali was black, African, it may not have been so. After all, Krishna is black also, although his body is different. He is Satchidananda. So our inquiry should be to the point of Krishna, not in reference to the so-called race or religion or nationality of this temporary, miserable body. That was from one letter in 1974. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada always convinced us to, be concerned of what is the essence, what is eternal, not just what is temporary, like the body. And Srila Prabhupada pointed out, just like in this lifetime, someone might be, I hate this race, I hate that race, but they're so much absorbed like that. Maybe the next lifetime they take birth in that way, and then they experience the hate somebody else has for them. So the best thing is just don't identify on the material level and just practice Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada tells a story. As a young brahmachari in a young ISKCON movement, Tamal Krishna asked Srila Prabhupada, "What is it like in the spiritual world, in Krishna Loka?" Prabhupada replied, "There are no draft boards there." The devotees laughed at Prabhupada's witty pertinence. Srila Prabhupada then told a story about a Christian missionary preaching among coal miners. The missionary began a fire and brimstone speech by telling the miners that a sinful person would have to go to hell and could only be saved if he surrendered to Jesus Christ. On hearing the name Jesus Christ, one of the miners asked, "What is his number?" They're thinking of their workers and they have numbers. What is his number? Since everyone in the mining company was assigned a number, the miners could not imagine Jesus Christ being anyone other than a mine worker. The missionary tried again by describing the misery of hell. Hell, he said, is very dark and damp. The miners looked back at the missionary without concern. His description of hell sounded like the mine, which they already knew. Then the missionary understood that he was preaching to people with a very limited conception of reality. So he would have to address their actual experience. And in hell, he said, there are no newspapers. No newspapers. "Oh, horrible, very frightening," the miners exclaimed. Srila Prabhupada's joke made the devotees laugh, and they also appreciated that a preacher has to think carefully when addressing an audience and speak according to time, place, and circumstances. But personally, for Tamal Krishna and the other young men, it was also a great relief to think that there was a spiritual world where they would not be in anxiety about being drafted into the army. That when Srila Prabhupada was physically present, I think Vietnam War was going on, and a lot of people were getting drafted. Uh, 43, personal. His eyes. In the Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami states that by the glance of great souls, people can become liberated. So it was with Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada's glance functioned both as the thunderbolt and as the rose. If a devotee went before Srila Prabhupada and he was not entirely honest or open, or if he was trying to bluff his commitment to Krishna, Srila Prabhupada would penetrate through all this by a straight gaze into the devotee's eyes. when the devotee would then the devotee would feel like a most foolish creature. He could not lie to Prabhupada unless he became the most hard-hearted liar. One looked within himself and saw the deficiency, and then faced with Srila Prabhupada's stern gaze. One looked within himself and saw a deficiency when faced with Prabhupada's stern gaze. Prabhupada had expressed hurt in his eyes when a disciple disappointed him and when he saw the sufferings of the conditioned souls. His eyes became particularly expressive with spiritual emotions when he was telling a story or laughing or crying. As the poets say, the eyes are the windows of the soul. After visiting the Gita Nagari farm, Prabhupada later described how he saw a cow there with a very big udder. In describing the cow, Prabhupada put his arms out to show the size and opened his eyes very wide in an almost childlike way. His listeners also became childlike, taking part in Srila Prabhupada's wide-eyed appreciation. There is a film of Srila Prabhupada taking his disciples around to holy places in Vrindavan. He is seen telling pastimes of Krishna, and his eyes are full of transcendental light. His eyes were full of spiritual play, love, and delight. Only a dead man can fail to see the bliss of Krishna consciousness coming from Prabhupada's eyes. Everyone knew that pushing on Krishna consciousness was great trouble for Prabhupada. His travel, his anxiety, his hard work, and yet his glancing, smiling eyes showed that he was above the struggle. From Prabhupada's eyes, one could get the impression that he was not actually a person of the world like everyone else. He was with Krishna in the spiritual world. Looking into Prabhupada's eyes gave one the impression that Prabhupada was deeper than anyone else. He was Guru. He knew and realized a depth we could not fathom, and he conveyed this through the language of his eyes. People like to present themselves as better than they are. A person may speak religiously or speak many superlatives of himself or claim to be honest or sincere. Sometimes it can be detected by looking at people straight in the eyes, whether they are actually afraid or dishonest. People therefore are often evasive and uncomfortable to look another person in the eyes. Srila Prabhupada could easily expose another's lack of Krishna consciousness by looking at him. Yet when one looked into Prabhupada's eyes, he could see only full Krishna consciousness. Number 44, realizations. My realization from my personal meetings with Srila Prabhupada was that he related to me as I related to him. When I was humble, he was very merciful to me. But when I was proud, Prabhupada smashed my pride. When I first met Prabhupada in the Calcutta temple in 1971, I went in and just sat down. He asked me who I was and if I had any questions. I said to him, well, why not Buddhism? I was a wise guy. Prabhupada answered, what does a Buddhist believe? I tried to recall my college course, Philosophy 101. I said something about the Eightfold Noble Path and the Fourfold. I kind of mumbled what I could about what Buddha had said, but I was already defeated because I couldn't even think what the Buddha had said. The next time I met Prabhupada was a Mayapur festival in 1972. After first meeting Prabhupada, I'd begun chanting Hare Krishna and I'd become a vegetarian. This time I wasn't so proud. I was thinking, quote, actually Prabhupada may know the answers to all the secrets of my life, end quote. I went in to see him with the mood that he was a perfect spiritual master. Although my surrender was only on a theoretical basis, I approached him submissively, the way it says in Bhagavad Gita, and I was also rendering service while I was staying in Mayapur. Without knowing it, I was following the injunction of the Gita. Therefore, naturally, Prabhupada reciprocated by rendering to me the absolute truth. Those conversations are all published in the book, Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers. Prabhupada was very, very merciful to me. He even said to me, "You are a very good boy." The next time I saw Prabhupada was again in Calcutta. By now I was much more respectful. When I went in to see him, he was drinking coconut juice. The first thing he did was give me some. I entered the room feeling myself very insignificant. When Prabhupada immediately gave me his own coconut juice to drink, it was just a little thing, but it really touched me. Another time, I met with him in 1973. I was also feeling very insignificant. This was when Prabhupada was in New York at the Brooklyn Temple. He was walking from his quarters to the temple room, and I was standing in the hallway packed with devotees. I was thinking, quote, I hope he doesn't even see me, end quote. When Prabhupada walked by, we all offered our obeisances. I kept my head all the way down, saying the prayers slowly to make sure he would be past me by the time I would stand up. But what I didn't know was Prabhupada had stopped and was waiting for me. I slowly finished the prayers and sat up, and there was Prabhupada right in front of me. He said, "Oh, you're here." He put his arms around me and gave me a hug. Another time, however, Prabhupada smashed my false ego. He was on a walk in Denver, and I joined him. Yadubar said, "Prabhupada, here's the Peace Corps worker. He's here to see you again." On this occasion, I was feeling very proud, thinking, yes, Prabhupada will be very glad to see me. But Prabhupada only said, that's all that he said. Shri Bhurnitai, Shri Radha Vrita Bihari, Jagannath, Balaram, Lady Subhadra, Gordon Shingade, Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. One time I also met Prabhupada in his room in New Orleans. On this occasion, I walked in insignificantly and sat in the back of the room. I didn't want Prabhupada to see me. The room was full of devotees, including many leaders, so I hid in the back. But Prabhupada saw me, and he paused in the middle of his darshan. He said, "Come here." I moved up about a foot. Again he said, "No, come here." I inched forward a little more. Then Brahmananda Swami turned and said, "Come here." I wound up sitting right next to Prabhupada at his feet. He wanted me to sit there. This devotee, so we signed at the end. It was Brahmatirtha. Brahmatirtha. I don't know if you know Brahmatirtha.
I saw a video where he talked to Prabhupada in LA. It was a perfect question.
Yeah.
I didn't know, I thought he was a Peace Corps worker.
Well, he was at the time.
Yes, okay.
And then became a devotee. He got initiated and everything. But at the time, the perfect questions, perfect answers, he was a Peace Corps worker.
There's a video where he's talking in Prabhupada's office. I didn't know that.
So continuing on with his writing. The time I was ready to get initiated, I was proud again. This was in 1976, and I was thinking, now Prabhupada will be so pleased with me. This is wonderful. Prabhupada did not personally perform the initiation ceremony. He was feeling ill, but he was sitting on the Vyasa-san and was giving out cookies. I was not very far away from Prabhupada, and I looked at him directly, thinking, now I'm here. I'm going to be initiated. Prabhupada will be glad to see me. I looked right at Prabhupada because before he had recognized me in New Orleans and in the hallway at Henry Street in Brooklyn. I was thinking, now I will be recognized again. I was actually thinking like that. I can remember when I looked straight at Srila Prabhupada, he looked right through me. He didn't even see me. He looked directly through me. It was the most eerie feeling. Prabhupada looking at me and not seeing me. It was the most severe chastisement he could give me for being proud. So I'm convinced that Prabhupada related to me as I related to him. If I was humble, he was kind. When I was puffed up, he practically ignored me. Brahmatirtha Das Adhikari. Yeah. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada, actually, you look at you and you would, like he's seeing you, the soul. Okay, I know who you really are. With all your modes of material nature and everything else, I can see who you really are. You can't hide anything from me. 45. In 1972, Aitreya Rishi Das arranged for Bob Cohen, later Brahmatirtha, and his wife to have a private darshan with Srila Prabhupada. Bob Cohen's wife had been coming to the temple for several months, and she was determined that no one was going to make her chant Hare Krishna. She only went to the temple because her husband went. The devotees would say, Hare Krishna, Barbara, and she would reply, hi. There was only her and her husband and maybe 8 or 10 sannyasis in the room that day. Bob offered prostrated obeisances, and Barbara only bowed her head. While Prabhupada looked at her and said, Srila Prabhupada looked at her and said, so you are interested in Krishna consciousness? She didn't understand a word he said. Everything had to be translated for her. Srila Prabhupada spoke for maybe an hour, and Barbara was impressed by him, although she didn't know exactly why. She asked Prabhupada a few questions, but was too new to really appreciate Krishna consciousness at that time. Srila Prabhupada was merciful to her. Later he passed out rasgullas. Hold out your hand, he said to Barbara, and he placed a rasgulla in her hand. Then it was time for him to leave. Bob Cohen was going to be driving Srila Prabhupada to the airport, and everyone else was leaving the room. Barbara lingered around the room until everyone was out, and then she turned to Prabhupada, folded her hands, looked at him right in the eye, and very deliberately said, Hare Krishna. With an expression of welcome, Prabhupada replied, Jai. Somehow Barbara was sure that Srila Prabhupada knew she had never willingly chanted the Hare Krishna before, and that this was the first time she had really chanted. This knowing and personal reciprocation seemed very wonderful to her, and she at once became determined to try to become a devotee. Imagine. Just a reciprocation like that. That's Bhakti. Her name became Bhakti Devi Dasi. Number 46. When Shrutakirti was serving as Srila Prabhupada's personal servant, he often felt embarrassed by the tremendous demonstration of love which devotees offered to Prabhupada, whereas Shrutakirti himself felt a lack of love, especially in arrival scenes at the airport. Dozens of devotees would be dancing around, chanting, crying, falling down on the ground. It was an amazing sight of love for Srila Prabhupada. On one of these occasions, while accompanying Srila Prabhupada, Shrutakirti began to feel very sorry for himself. He thought that all these devotees were dancing and chanting, and here he was walking beside Srila Prabhupada. But he had no feeling, no real love. Then this began to disturb his mind. One day during the massage, Shrutakirti expressed it to Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, all these devotees have so much love for you. It makes me feel so bad. I have none of this love. When I'm with you, I can see everyone else dancing and chanting and crying, but I have so much association, and yet I don't feel that this is there. He was hoping that Prabhupada would say something or do something, but Prabhupada said nothing. He went on massaging and finished. Then Prabhupada went and bathed. After putting on his tilak and chanting his Gayatri, Prabhupada called Shrutakirti into his room. So, do you like serving me? said Prabhupada. Oh yes, Prabhupada, said Shrutakirti. I like serving you very much. Then said Srila Prabhupada, that is love. Everyone can do so many things, singing, dancing, jumping up and down, but you are actually doing something. Isn't this love? I guess so, Srila Prabhupada. So you just do your service, said Prabhupada. That is all that is necessary. That is what love means, to do service. 47. A couple will do. Vishaldas wanted to find an astrologer in Vrindavan. Without consulting Srila Prabhupada, he found one who was wearing tilak and chanting Hare Krishna. Vishal wanted to get something he had seen. He wanted to get something he had seen other residents of Vrindavan wearing. A charm you wear around your neck that has on it all the mantras of the demigods. It was supposed to counteract the influence of the planets, the bad influence of the planets. The astrologer sold him one of those neck pieces, and it all sounded very nice. He told Vishal to dip it in the Yamuna and to have an arti at 12 noon. Soon after this, Brahmananda Maharaj noticed Vishal's new ornament. Vishal, said Brahmananda Swami, what's that you have around your neck? When Vishal told him, Brahmananda Swami replied, Prabhupada says we don't have to add anything to this process. At these words, Vishal became disturbed. He thought that Brahmananda Swami was right, and he also felt embarrassed. Why are you wearing this? Brahmananda Swami demanded. Vishal replied that he would like to talk to Prabhupada, and he asked if he could have an appointment. When Vishal went to see Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada asked him how much he had paid the astrologer and what he had said. Vishal said the astrologer had claimed that the charm would ward off the ill effects of the planets. Krishna consciousness is beyond astrology, said Prabhupada. If you surrender to Krishna with a slight kick, Krishna can annihilate 100,000 Rahu planets. So Vishal put aside his astrological neckpiece and just depended on Prabhupada and Krishna. Soon after, a godbrother showed Vishal a letter he had received from Prabhupada about the same subject matter. Astrology will not save you at the time of death. My Guru Maharaj was a great astrologer and astronomer, but he gave it all up. It is meant for the karmis. We have no interest in such things. And read one more. Little Drops of Nectar. Tamal Krishna Goswami explains the difficulties of serving at Mayapur when he was in its beginning days. He and Jayapataka Maharaj had to go out themselves to different parts of India and get wagon loads of stone, chips, steel, sand, and cement. Even before obtaining the materials, they had to get government sanction, which was not easy. It was also difficult to get any wagons or trains because there was a shortage. Somehow or other, they managed to gather some materials and they proudly sent Prabhupada a photograph. These materials were so precious that the devotees would sleep on top of the stone chips and steel at night to protect them from thieves. Prabhupada wrote back a letter saying, "What is the use of so many pictures? Where is the building?" Prabhupada gave some money to begin the construction, but he told them that they had to raise all the funds. Why are you sitting there? Prabhupada wrote in another letter to Tamal Krishna Maharaj Goswami. Now go out and collect more money. Even when Prabhupada donated money, the devotees knew he did not want to, and they felt bad for asking. You're all just like widows, Prabhupada told them sarcastically. Better you all go to Mayapur and sit there, and I will earn money and maintain you all. It's sarcastic. One day in France, Bhagavan Das and other disciples walked into Prabhupada's room and found Prabhupada looking up meditatively at the chandeliers. Look at that chandelier, he said. You should make the universal model of the planetarium just like that. The planets are hanging just like crystals in the chandelier, like it is in Mayapur now. After serving for a while in India, Giriraj became restless. He approached Prabhupada one day during his massage. Srila Prabhupada asked Giriraj, I have been discussing with Shamasundar and Tamal Krishna Goswami, and I was thinking that maybe I should go back to the West and preach in colleges and universities to the professors and writers. Prabhupada said, a devotee may be massaging Krishna's left leg, and then he may think, now I will massage Krishna's right leg. Of course, that is also service to Krishna, but Krishna may feel that he wants more massaging on his left leg still. Well, if that's the case, said Giriraj obediently, if you want me to stay in India, I will stay. That's why I was asking. I wanted to know what you want, what you want. Yes, says Prabhupada, India is our most important preaching right now. So I think we'll end here for today. We'll start next time on number 49. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Nectar ki jai. No actual questions there. Any questions or comments?
I like, Srila Prabhupada always bringing it back to kind of the ABC, when you mentioned about racism and this kind of business is not, it's very deep philosophy, but he always brings it back to the practical aspect of, we're not our bodies, like, I'm this, I'm man, I'm Christian, I'm this, I'm American, because that's really where all the world's happening, I'm Indian.
The bodily concept. Yeah.
Prabhupada, there's so much deep philosophy, but some people say, well, he's always just preached on Bhagavad Gita kind of second chapter, but that's really what we need is a constant reminder, that not to be, we have a body, but to be at the essence, as you mentioned, really concentrate on the essence. It's similar thing all of us in people's relationships.
Yes, Srila Prabhupada always brought he kept this focus. He kept this focus on the what was most important, the essence.
That was inspiring about the baby back in the house. Was very separate until she got the opportunity in that way, and she waited, and said Hare Krishna and that was not too quick.
Yeah. She says Hare Krishna to Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
And Srila Prabhupada replied, and she felt like, wow, he really knows what I'm thinking, and he understands that it's been a great struggle, and I'm saying Hare Krishna, and now she got that determination. By Srila Prabhupada's blessings.
It's really inspiring. It's inspired for us. Resisting, just by association.
Any questions, comments?
I like where he was saying how making eye contact and see somebody's consciousness thing. You kind of like lost in the material world, you have like some shame, and it'll be like very hard to make eye contact and almost avoid it. By making eye contact with people, it's like a little test, a little like initiation to see like where are you at right now.
Yes. Yes. And she'll probably could see right through you. Look into my eyes. Okay, so we'll end here, and soon I think I'll have a little microphone out there, so when everyone speaks, we'll be able to hear up. It'll. Well, I don't know if it'll come up here, but it'll come into the recording at least. So. Friday. Yeah, this is Friday, right? Saturday is Srimad Bhagavatam class. And so basically, this is on Friday, and Chaitanya Charitamrita normally is on Sunday, and the rest of the week is Srimad Bhagavatam. So tomorrow should be Srimad Bhagavatam, and the next day then Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then the rest of the week it should be normally Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.